All right, YouTube. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast talking Auburn football. Go ahead and like the video, comment, and subscribe. As always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle A-Day game coming up this weekend. Man, if you're coming to Auburn, man, look, there are a lot of good spots to hit. I'm not sure, hadn't been down there in a while as far as, tailgating and all that other stuff. It's been a while, shamefully say, as far as work and all that other stuff has kept me from being down on the plains as much as I would like to. But, man, I plan to go this coming weekend. Not sure if I'll even be able to hit the game, but I will be on the Auburn scene after the game. Make sure you hit, say, Mama Goldberg's if that's one of your nostalgic spots. And I'm not even sure if one of my favorite wing joints was Buffalo Connection. I'm not sure if that's still open. But either way, it's always great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle. Bryan Harsin chiming in on his thoughts about Bo Nix. We're going to talk about this in this particular show. A lot of you guys are like, man, why do you talk so bad about Bo Nix? Now, I'm going to be candid with you. I genuinely like Bo Nix. I am probably one of Bo Nix's biggest fans and really want him to be successful because if you look at all the intangibles, one of the best quarterbacks in Alabama history, garnished every possible football award that a quarterback could garnish, got a couple of state championships, didn't lose too much as a quarterback. I'm on his side. Really am. Really want him to be successful because if you look at the physical attributes, the guy can run the ball. The guy can throw the ball. He has all of the tools that a five-star recruit would have. However, there are some things missing that I have actually talked about on this channel. A lot of folks are like, hey, you dislike Bo Nix. You're bashing Bo Nix. You're always criticizing Bo Nix. No, sir, I'm not bashing the guy. This guy's a hard worker. This guy wants to win football games at Auburn. But the results thereof do not lie. Completion percentage among the worst in the SEC and in some cases among the worst in the country when it comes to the actual stats. I think, there are a lot of other intangibles that are getting in the way of Bo Nix from being ultimately successful at Auburn. Now, do I think he can be successful? For sure. I mean, when he's back there, I think he's one of the more talented, just raw talented quarterbacks in the country. However, when you translate all of the success that he had as a high school quarterback, you can't deny it. 12,000 plus yards, numerous touchdowns, Alabama Football Player of the Year, playing against some of the highest level of competition in the state of Alabama. There is no denial that this is a talented quarterback that's suiting up in the Auburn uniform. However, we've talked about this over and over again. And Bryan Harsin talked about this in a recent interview on 24/7. And I looked at it and I was like, man, did they look at my video and see some of the things that I saw in Bo Nix? Probably not. I mean, I'm not going to flatter myself. They probably didn't. But at the same time, this guy is like such a talent. We just want to see the best version of Bo Nix. And we want to see the best version of Bo Nix in the high consequence games. Because it seems like in the high consequence games, even in the Alabama game, the stats weren't all that great in 2019. it's still something missing. It's still something that Bo Nix has to channel into, and it has nothing to do with physicality. It has nothing to do with his ability, because I think the kid's got it. But he has to feel internally that he has it. And I think when Bryan Harsin gave a public statement on Bo Nix, it is very, refreshing that he was candid about it. Bo Nix, probably one of the more talented returning quarterbacks in the SEC with, a ceiling out of this world. But it's all mental. Bo Nix has to believe, first of all, Bo Nix has to believe in himself. I think there is a confidence lacking. He was thrown into the fire as a true freshman, and he had some epic moments. The touchdown against Oregon to win that particular football game after a not so stellar performance. Then going down to Florida that same year and pretty much laying an egg there, laying an egg against LSU, laying an egg against Georgia, and some good things happened in the game against Alabama. And then going in the Minnesota game and not being able to be the kind of factor that you expect from a five-star quarterback. Out of all the five-star quarterbacks, 4 stars who were forced into action in their freshman season, I think about the guy from Arizona State. I can't think of his name. Did a great job, lit it up. But Bo Nix struggled. And a lot of it is mental. One of the things that Bryan Harsin harped on is the fact that what we need to do with a guy like Bo Nix, we have to coach and we have to train this guy to be able to perform under pressure and understand the game of football. And the game of football is not perfect, because most of you guys will be on this channel and on other social media outlets, and you will say, well, it's the offensive line. And yes, in some cases it was. Soon as the ball is snapped, there's a guy in Bo Nix's face, and he's having to run for his life, right? However, what I really appreciated about Bryan Harsin was the fact that it's not going to always be a favorable situation for the quarterback, especially in the SEC. The SEC has some of the best defensive linemen in the country, and they have some of the best defensive packages that are going to be thrown at a quarterback in the country. So what is it going to take? What has to happen? Bo Nix has to understand that all situations are not going to be favorable. Because when Bo Nix has a favorable situation to where he can just drop back and there's a clean pocket and the receivers are open, one of the best I've ever seen. But my goodness, when there is pressure, when there are dynamic coverage packages, Bo Nix tends to fold. Does that mean he's a horrible quarterback? Absolutely not. But what that means is, it's got to be some film study, guys. It's got to be some situations to where Bo Nix has to slow the game down. He's going into his junior year as a quarterback at Auburn. Do I expect him to be good? Yes. He's a good quarterback. He's a good athlete. But he has to figure out a way to manage the moment. And that's something that he just straight up has not been good at. When I did videos last year on Auburn, when I do the predictions, especially when it comes to a big game, what is the biggest factor that I talk about? Which version of Bo Nix is going to show up? Is it going to be the Florida 2019 Bo Nix, which was epically one of probably the, I'll say this, the Florida game in 2019 was epically one of the worst games probably in Bo Nix's entire career. He had a bad game. But let's just say Bo Nix has learned from those things. Bo Nix has channeled that intuitive instinct as a quarterback that's going to be successful in the SEC, in Power 5 football. It's some big games he's got coming up. Penn State. Man, we need the real, whatever the best version of Bo Nix to show up. We don't need the Bo Nix that throws 59, completes 59% of his passes. That's not going to win football games, as you all know. The quarterback position is key. This guy touches the ball every single play. And 8 yards per pass is not going to work. If Auburn is going to be ultimately successful, and Bryan Harsin talked about this. Now, y'all won't beat Bryan Harsin up as much as y'all beat me up about talking about Bo Nix, but I want Bo Nix, the best version of this very athletic kid out of Pinson Valley High School, got every possible football award that you can give. I want him to be successful. And if this football team is going to be successful in 2021, Bo Nix has to be the guy to lead the charge. The Bo Nix has to be the guy that sees adversity, that sees a situation where the line breaks down and he figures out a way to make a play. We don't need the Bo Nix that it's 3rd and 6 and he can't convert. Because if he can't convert, this Auburn team is not going to be successful. And Bryan Harsin has explicitly said this, that if he can't do it, then he won't be successful. Bo Nix has to be a guy that completes about 68% of his passes and 12 yards per pass. Easy. That's how Bo Nix is going to be successful. Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart here for the podcast. Talking Auburn football, man, I want Bo Nix to be successful more than y'all know. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.